Okay, welcome everyone to the final chapter of creating my English saddle with tree pattern, the new one. And this is where we were at last time, getting ready for the final work and to also assemble the girth. So I want to start with, I keep talking about lines and versus stitches on your tack, and discussion came up on one of the boards that I watch. This one was on Facebook. It was a Model Horse Tack group, and talked about this tool and different tools like this that are really quick at creating stitches. And I just want to thank Lisa Smalley from Smalley Saddlery. She had one of these available for purchase in her Etsy store, and so I got it, and going to try and show you that this is another way to add your stitch lines, and it's a lot faster, and the holes are much closer together. So this is the strap for the girth and the center strap. So that would be sewn on. So this is a good place to put stitch marks. And we're going to try just doing it right along the edge. We're going to do on both sides and just kind of see. It's like the second time I've used this tool. And I'm sure, just like everything, it takes practice. Let's see how this works. This would be really good for straps. Like the bridle, the martingale, you want to make sure you have straps. And so I'm trying to make sure I get back in the groove, and I didn't. So that's going to be interesting. Because I'm using tooling leather, it's going to take it really well. And see how far I can go with the center strap. Much faster, much cleaner. I still think they're too far apart, but that again is personal opinion. It seems to be the way people do things, so I'll just go with it. And this is the one where I'll have to cut off the excess, but anyways, I'll do the other side and get it as close to the edge as I can. So a little bit of practice. This might actually be a nice time saver any place where you want to put stitches. And probably most importantly, they're going to be even. And the hardest part is going to be getting this back in the groove. So I'd still like them a little bit tinier, but it turned on me. So you can see sometimes I'm learning new tricks myself. Oh, and I have this on a piece of marble because it's nice and hard. Pushes back. If you have a squishy surface, it's not going to take the holes as well. So that's what you're looking at, is marble on my background. Just bought it at a DIY store. Bought one of them. All right, so let's see how well stitches show up. There we go. Now you can see the stitches. Those are your stitch lines. They need to be a little bit more parallel to each other, but not too bad for pretty quick work. More likely to use this than to stitch mark all my saddles. So again, that was that's who I bought it from. She's got an Etsy store. Maybe she has some more. Maybe she knows somebody who has them if you want them. So most greatly appreciated. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so as far as stitches, that's really the only one on the girth that needs it. We have our girth piece here, and then we have our two buckle straps, right? So we will grab some buckles, and don't really need to make you watch this, but I buy my buckles. They come in like strips. They need to be separated, and then the little tip here taken off. This is a diamond file. It's really good for miniature work because it doesn't have some of them have like lines, further abrasion. This here, it's since it's all over, they're less likely to get caught in those lines when you go to do it. So I prefer the diamond. And then there you go. So we get that. And then that's kind of what your buckle looks like. I'm going to go ahead and do the other 3, and then I'll be back. Okay, so for assembly of the girth, this is a wrap, right? But we don't want a seam on the side. So we're going to do a third. So we're going to push the seam to the middle. And so I'm going to finger press. And finger press. Right, finger press. And then kind of like on the inside of that finger press. Love glue. Okay. The inside of that finger press, white glue, and we're just going to put a line straight down the middle, which of course I have a clogged tip. There we go. So one of the things about white glue, your tip can clog. All right. That's probably way more than you need. And then we're going to take these 2 buckle straps, and the trick is to lay them evenly. So I want enough strap on either side for the buckle. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first one. It's a little long on that end, so I'll pull it till it looks like I've got basically the same amount on either side, and more towards the center. When we do this, what we're trying is to leave a gap in the middle that will fit one more strap, right? That's where the channel for that center decorative strap is going to be. Get the second one to match the first one. Not too far apart here. Again, advantage of white glue is you got more working time. And I way overdid this here. Just about enough in the middle. All right. So now we're going to fold our outside edges in, and just get that to the edge. This is where having some type of glue applicator can help, whether it's just a piece of wire or a toothpick or something. I like using wire because you can pull the glue off and reuse it. Toothpicks tend to get a little bit too gooked. But I'm not going to use it this time. I'm going to roll that over and then try and create this channel in here. Just work it in. See what we can do. And the other thing about having this seam in the middle here is it's hidden, so it doesn't have to be perfect. That's good. Right. Now I'll do the other side. Center. Create that channel. This is where having skiver is important because you don't want, not that I haven't done it with other thicker leathers, but the skiver seems to just help me create that channel a little bit better. All right, there we go. So that's actually the front side. And now we're going to glue this down in the middle. I don't need much overlap, about 1/4 of an inch on either side. So I'll go ahead and put my center piece in. There we go. And work it into that channel. Looks like it's sitting in there. Let's work off that excess glue. I'll go ahead and Turn those down so they don't get in the way. And I'll flip this over so it's on the other side. And then I don't need all of this, so I'm just going to clip about that much off. Nice and tight. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and put on our buckles. And I usually do them, so you know you're supposed to wrap around the center bar. Buckles you wrap around the center bar. I've actually seen people who don't understand how to do that. But the wrap is around the center bar. And I didn't get these absolutely perfectly the same, but these actually hide under the saddle. Now I'm using buckles, I'm using this square, and they're actually a little bit larger. These should be 3/32, and I want to make sure that there's plenty of room for my billets to fit in there. If the buckles don't have enough room here and there for the leather, it won't sit right. Okay, so make sure the buckles are about right. And then we're going to fold these over so that they're covered on the back too. Okay. Oops. We'll wait to get that glue off. So if we do that. All right. Go to the other side. Yeah, almost done. So the next thing we have to do is the D-ring in the middle for a martingale. And let me get the stuff together for that. Be right back. Okay, so these are purchased Ds. You can use jump rings if you want. I show in my books how you can take a jump ring and squash the ring on one side and turn it into a D-ring. These are a lot flatter than jump rings, and so I kind of like to use them. I think they're a little bit more live show quality. And I'm just going to take my side cutters, clip them off of there. Now I'm cutting 3 because I need these for my saddle too. And so I'll just do these all at the same time. Now what you need is, you can either do, like, if you have excess of this, you could just go ahead and cut a length of it, about 1/4 inch. Yeah, it's 1/16 of an inch actually is what these are. These are 1/16 inch, 1/16 inch. I don't actually clean off the ends on these because I find that having that little nib there keeps the D-rings facing forward, and if you cut it, it has a tendency to flip backwards. More of an issue on the saddle because then they end up underneath the jockeys. But you could use this. I mean, if we wanted to, we could cut it to be like a perfect match. We could do that. This is a 1/4 or 1/16 inch leather lace. I'm going to go ahead and use that. It is dyed the same color, but because every leather takes dye differently, it's not a perfect match. Okay, so if I wanted a perfect match, I would just use a length of this. I'm going to use this for right now. What we're going to do for the center D, this one is going to go through from the back. And it's a little trick I do, because I used to do these and I put the girth on the wrong direction. The D-ring would be facing the wrong way. I'd have to totally retack. It drove me nuts. So what I do instead is I'm going to put it on here. I've got plenty of excess here and the rest of it uncut from the spool there. And the first thing I'm going to do is just a little bit of glue, like right there, right next to the D. And I'm going to glue that. And then that gives the D the ability to go either direction, right? So it's not stuck in one direction, so you don't worry about putting it on backwards, which I've done too many times, all right? So once that sets up, then we're going to find the center of the girth. So we'll fold it, give myself a thumb press so I know where the center of the girth is. And then I'm going to put a little glue line on there, just a little glue line. And we're going to put this right on that center. So the D is right centered on the center. See that? And like I said, this then allows, it can be pulled this way, it can be pulled that way, and this way. You never put it on backwards. Okay. And then on the back side, we'll go ahead and close over one side. I think I put a little too much. Yeah, it's a little too much. It's a little too much leather lace, but it's all right. And we'll clip the excess towards the back. And then we'll fold this over. Fold the leather lace over. By the way, that's a little piece of t-shirt. I had a bunch of old t-shirts. I just cut them up in little squares, and I use that instead of paper towels or rags, because I think they don't stick to the glue, and they don't leave hairs or lint behind. All right, so there's your completed girth. All right, I still need to, because I dyed it, I'm going to do a coat on this, and I'll show you the difference between before and after on the putting on an extra, like a sheen, satiny sheen on it. Now these D's are for the saddle, and these are the martingale D's. So we're just going to make a couple of them. It doesn't need to be very long. 1/4 of an inch is good, just enough that it'll stay attached to the saddle. So flip that over. More. Almost there, guys. Okay, so I'm going to take these two. Here's your saddle, and the D's are going to go, normally they would actually be bolted to your, this bolt right here, okay? That gives them extra strength for the martingale. Well, this leather lace is a little bit too skinny, and I find that the needle will actually break it. So instead, we're going to lift it up. We're going to go ahead and glue it right in there, all right? I'll show you how you do that. A lot of times, because my fingers are so fat, I'll just use pliers as fingers, and you want to put glue on both sides. And then we'll go ahead and make sure there's no glue to get on my suede. And we're going to put that in there, and we're going to push it up and try and get it just over the piping, right? They do. Sometimes they cooperate, sometimes they don't. But that's what we want. We want it just there where the piping is, okay? And do the other side, show you again. Glue both sides. These could be shorter, they're actually kind of long, but they're not likely to fall out. Absolutely. Sorry. Yeah, that one's seated perfectly. All right, so if you can see, it's glued both sides here, right? And you can also see there's your stirrup bar. It's pretty much within reach. All right, so usually I wait 24 hours from the last time I glue something before I put a coat on it, but I'm kind of I'm going to do that for you guys to see. But we do need to get the stirrup leathers and the stirrups, because I need to do some work on this. Now this is all pre-skived 3/32. You don't have to use 3/32. You can use, this is my 1/8 inch. I've got an 1/8 inch leather lace that would also work. So depends. I mean, if it's a true working saddle, it'd be wider because it would be a stronger piece of leather. Or for scale, you know what, let's just go ahead and use the 1/8. I can use the 1/8. All right. And I've got a lot of it pre-skived, not all of it. So for measurement, what I know on my saddles is that I want the stirrup to hang just about 1/4 inch, or about the full stirrup with about 1/4 inch of stirrup leather, and that will have it be at level with the belly of the horse, and the bottom of the stirrup level with the belly of the horse. So if you don't have a rider, that's what the rule is in showing. So it should never be longer. The bottom of the stirrup should never go past the belly of the horse. Hope that I understand that. So I need to measure this, and because I do different type saddles, I don't really have, you know, how long it is. I do in my book, but that's only for convenience. Really, most of it's just estimate. Okay, so I want to go to here, and I want about 1/4 inch hang. So that's going to be my first one, right? But I want double that because it's actually going to be 1, 2, right? And then we need the length for here to go out, and we want to go out right about there. So there's my 2 for the stirrup, and then I can also do 1/3. So it comes to right about there. All right, that's where the tip would end. You can make it a little longer because it's always easier to make it shorter than it is to stretch it. You can't stretch it, right? And I need 2 of these, 1 for each stirrup. Now, have you noticed that because I dyed these and then I skived them, that I've got a different colored leather on the back side than I do on the front side? So I need to, I'm actually going to use some dye, matching dye, to take care of the color on the back side. And yes, this was also dyed with the same color dye, and the leather lace just took it a different color. So I only buy medium brown, dark brown, and black. There's really the only 3 that I buy. Okay. Stirrups. So I've tried making stirrups. Unless you are a soldering professional, they're really hard to make and have them actually look real. So these are purchased, and you can get these. There's the different saddle tack, miniature tack people and companies. There's the World of Model Horse Collecting, TWMC, on eBay. There's Social Saddlery. I think she sells hers. I think she still sells. Anyways, there's also Rio Rondo, and Rio Rondo I think has the best selection, and its online ordering is really easy. I've done the model, I've done the eBay TWMC. She's got some unique items that Rio Rondo doesn't have. So shop, you know. These are not inexpensive. They are hand cast in pewter. So there's labor involved. And whenever there's labor, because they're not machine made, they're not going to be cheap, okay? That's just the way it is. So these are the most expensive part of your saddle. I think these are like $7, $8 right now a pair. And I buy them in bulk, so I get a little bit of a discount. That's kind of nice, goes towards when I sell my saddles. I make a few pennies more. They do need to be cleaned. There's different ways to clean them. You have to get the nubs off. Of course, you know, I like using my, you could use a Dremel. Dremel's faster. It's also really noisy. Stuff gets in the air, so I don't know, pewter dust. So you want to clean off the rough edges, mostly so don't scratch your horse, but also for the realism. And it can take some time, so I'm not going to have you watch me do this, but I'm going to just get all the rough edges off and try and make them look as live as possible. I do know the ones on eBay don't have, you don't have to clean them, but they're more expensive. I think they're like 12 or 15 a pair. So if you got more time than money, get the cheaper ones. If you got more money than time, go ahead and pay extra for the ones that'll save you this time, you know, to clean these things up. So I'll be back with the next step, and basically just putting buckles on here. You already know how to do buckles. I won't waste your time showing you that. Alrighty, so running out of time for today for me to be able to do this. Just to let everybody know, I've had a change in my work schedule, so it's been a little bit more difficult to get these videos done because I have to give up like a day of my weekend off in order to do them. So that's why this one's a little bit late. I had a total change in my work schedule and just messed everything up, but we'll get this done, and then hopefully I can continue these maybe once a month instead of trying to do them once a week, which was my original intent. But anyways, here is, this is a satin sheen that I've put on, not satin sheen, it's a super sheen. This here is the Echo Flow. That's my dedicated brush held on by a rubber band. But anyways, that's what I use. There's also a satin sheen if you want it more of a work saddle. I like using the super sheen on my English saddles, the satin sheen on my Western saddles I consider working, unless they're Western Pleasure, and then I'll put the super sheen on it. So anyways, it's still wet, and that's why you get this dark spot here, so don't panic if you see it. It just means I got it on the underside, and the underside takes longer to dry. So when this is totally dry, those dark spots will go away. So I'll put that aside. I'm going to use another saddle that I already have. Now one of the things that I do is I do kind of do a little last minute shaping on the tree. Let's see if I can do a little bit here, just to get it as realistic as possible. So usually there's a little hump here that's it's right on the horse's withers. Try really hard not to use my nails. And then a little bit of a bend so that it's kind of that shaped in the front. You can see that shape. And then make sure my seat is up, and you can kind of see the layers back here. So there's your finished saddle. Okay. You can also train it on a model. I show how to do that with rubber bands or with shoelaces, and then you can also get these flaps to go the right way when you train it, so it's rounded around the horse. And that really needs to be done on a model or on a can or a dowel or something that will help get that shape. And you can also at the same time train the leathers, the stirrup leathers, to hang, and they actually do that to real full-size saddles as well. Brand new ones get trained, and usually they'll like put a broom through the stirrups to give it weight and hold it and all sorts of cool stuff. But you can look that up if you want on the internet on how to train a brand new saddle. Okay, so here's one. We'll use this. Now these were already dyed and coated and ready to go on this, and we need to, hang on, I forgot my stirrups. I put the stirrups away, hang on. Okay, back. Here's my stirrups, ready to go. So trick is, you go through the stirrup first, take it right to the buckle so it doesn't, oh, it wasn't cleaned one. Oh. And then we'll take, I like using my rounded pliers because they don't have any teeth and they're kind of like just like little fingers. But this can be kind of tough to do using regular fingers because you have to get inside here. All right, so I'm going to take these, push up my jockey, find the stirrup bar. This may be hard to show. See, there's a stirrup bar. I'm going to go under the stirrup bar, and then I'm going to, if I got it right, I can push it under enough that we can find that strap. There it is, and pull it over. All right, and then we'll go ahead and buckle it. And this is where having a little bit of a tip. Make sure like these are. And we're not going to leave much because whatever we leave here is what's going to be sticking out here, right? So maybe a little more, only because these are a little bit long. See how that it's a little bit more than a 1/4 inch, so I'm going to 1/4 inch. Let me see if I can pull it up just a little bit. Pull it up until there's about a 1/4 inch, maybe about a 1/2 inch. I'll put it on a big horse. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, we can do that. And then you pull the back strap until the buckle fits right in that pocket. And this is another one of the things that this design does, is it makes this a very close contact type of saddle. Everything's tucked in there. And then we'll take this, put it through the keeper. All right, so we do it right. And again, this is where a little bit of training will make all of this lay flat the way it's supposed to. But there you go. Now, buckle holes. You can put in your faux buckle holes. I wouldn't go all the way to the end. I've seen sometimes they'll do it all the way to the tip. That isn't right. So, because you're always going to have some, if your stirrup leathers have to go that far, then you're not going to be able to get through the keeper. So maybe starting right there if you want to do all of them. But basically it's just going to be maybe 5 from where the buckle is to where the keeper is, maybe 1 over the keeper. Just keep them, don't do it all the way down because that would be unrealistic. Just where there would actually be buckle holes, because if you're getting down here for a buckle hole, your stirrup leathers are too short. You need longer ones. There we go. So we'll do the other side here. All right, so get myself a tip. And then we'll just lift that up so hopefully you can see the stirrup bar. There it is right there. Push it underneath the stirrup bar, right? And then above the stirrup bar, pull the strap up. Okay. And then again, we're going to try and get them about the same length. Ooh, buckle. I should probably use my pliers because this is getting, my fingers are in the way. Yeah, my fingers are in the way. And then just check and see what the length is. Yeah, about the right length, right? About the same. You see that? Just about the same. Pull the back one up until the buckle falls neatly into that little channel made for it. Then all right. Okay, ways to make holes. So I'll go ahead and put some holes in here. in the stirrup leathers. And different people like different ways. Some people use a really sturdy mechanical pencil. They take out the lead and then they use that to stamp holes, which is fine. I think that's great. It's very ingenious. What I do is there's this tool from Tandy Leather. It's really like a glove making. It's for making holes in like gloves and stuff. And it's got all these different sized holes. So I could use the teeny tiniest hole here. And of course the trick is getting the holes in the right place. But I'm going to pull this up. And I'm going to make holes right from there to where the buckle is. Come on, baby. Come on now. Okay. So I'm not going to make that many holes, but I'll just make some just faux holes just so that it's got that, you know, live show quality. So you have to center it. Hard to do with the light in here. Let's see if that's any better. Right about there. The lighting is horrible. Okay. So center the hole on the lace and then push it all the way down, and there's a hole, and it's not too big. And the thing is that because it's stretched right now, so that's the way I make holes. And I'll go ahead and make another one. Oh, I didn't center that one. That's what sucks about making holes. Okay, so I mean, yeah, that was not a good example. First one was better. All right, so then when you pull it, don't you love it when people make mistakes when they're showing you what not to do, huh? Or what to do? Here's the what not to do. Don't make that mistake. So now you have just a little itty bitty detail. Show you what that looks like. Oh, by the way, I got my tool from Tandy Leather, which is also Tandy Leather Factory. I guess Leather Factory bottom. So if the holes were centered right, you could see how that would be a nice little detail. And because it's very subtle, it's just enough to say, hey, yeah, there's a buckle tongue in that buckle. When there isn't, it's friction. And then you can also trim this once you get it on the model. I always like to see what it's going to look like, the stirrups in the right place, on the model or on a model before I do that final trim on these, right? So there you go. And okay, last thing was the girth. So you only really need 2 billets, right? And you want to, I'm opening this up a little wide because I want you to see what I'm doing. That was a little bit wider than I usually would because I think I ripped a glue seam there. So here's why I like the bigger buckles. Let's see. There we go. All right, so outer 2. So apparently when it comes to, not that I've done a lot of studying on personally using an English saddle. I've ridden English, obviously, but not really ever bought a saddle and fitted it. It was always done for me. The center 2 is normal, and then depending upon how it fits the horse, that you can use like the back 2, and it helps to adjust the saddle fit. I don't know. There's books on fitting saddles if you want to read them. And it made no sense to me because I don't ride like that as often as I want to. And been a long time since I've owned a horse, and when I owned the horse, I rode bareback. So there you go. And if it's skived right, and then you'll see what it looks like there. I like the holes. Probably do that more often because it's not too hard. I'll get better at it. Better lighting without a camera in my way. I'm sure I can do a better job. So there you go. It's ready to mount on a horse. Fit it onto a horse, get a pad, and then whatever equipment you want, martingale or breast collar, running martingale attachment if you want, and bridle that fits the event. So don't know when I'll get a chance to do another video. I want to do the martingale and the bridle. I want to show chevron reins. I want to show how to do a raised edge on straps. I mean, there's things that I want to show you guys how to do. I will try to do at least one a month. Depends upon my work schedule. and my family schedule, my life schedule. But I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope I've helped you learn something new and make as many as you want, modify the pattern to suit your needs, and enjoy.